We are completely shaken up when we are faced with loss. How can something that was so tight in our grasp, or at least was about to be, fleet so suddenly when it was steadily shining bright just the day before? The pain of an experience like that can be too great. To let hope take you so high to the horizons only to find yourself slam headfirst straight to the ground. They could be missed opportunities, a job position that seemed, completely perfect for your aspirations, ticking all the right boxes, and yet it still did not reach you, or an acceptance letter to your dream program that never finds your way for admission. People also come on top of our list, such as when our loved ones find their way back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sooner than expected, or sometimes even more hurtful, when they don't leave this world but they just leave you. But is that as bad as it gets? I would say there's something even more precious to all of us, and that is our unseen gifts. And those are usually priceless and not so easy to find. Losing those can be very hard. It could be a sober mind, a resilient faith, an unwavering hope, a purpose that pushes you off bed every morning. We can lose those too. These gifts, these feelings are essentially what makes us alive and present with the world and all that lies beyond it. When we lose those or lose the ability to summon them back in ourselves, it's more of a crisis, because this time it's really a part of you that is disappearing into thin air. This doesn't just hit home, this hits you. It's one thing when we experience a physical loss. How will anything ever be as great as that job? How will anyone be as tender and beautiful as she was? And it's another thing completely when we lose pieces from ourselves that were with us for so long. Will I ever be as sincere and resilient as I used to? Can I get back my shame and innocence that I once had? And so amidst the sadness, grief, and pain in these bleak and dark times, the answer will probably be a no. No, I'm never going to have anything as great as that. I will never be as strong as I was. Look, I won't tell you need to stop being such a bummer to yourself, and I wouldn't tell you to discredit and stop asking these questions, because, well, it is our nature. This is our psyche trying to make sense of a deep hole we have fallen into. We fall time to time. It's really okay. And sometimes we are told to wonder about what possibilities can come next. But when we are so broken, it's very hard to see ahead in the future so positively. So to imagine a return of any kind, or a better replacement of what was lost, a return of hope and faith, a return of a loved one, a replacement of a better opportunity. And so I was definitely one of those people, and I always had a hard time imagining optimistic possibilities. And so as a Muslim, I had this question in regards to possibility. How possible is it really? Allah has beautifully made sure the answer to that question becomes ingrained in us through an image in Surah Luqman, an image of a grain of mustard seed and the whole seven skies. يا بني إنها إن تك مثقال حبة من خردل فتكن في صخرة أو في السماوات أو في الأرض يأتي بها الله إن الله لطيف خبير. O my son, if it be anything equal to the weight of a grain of mustard seed, and though it be in a rock or in the heavens or in the earth, Allah will bring it forth. Verily, Allah is subtle, well aware. Luqman, the righteous man mentioned in the Quran, tells his son here about a very important lesson. He tells him that if there was ever anything resembling the weight of a grain of mustard seed found in a rock or the earth or anywhere within the whole seven vast heavens, then Allah will be very much able to bring it forth. And what a trip that is to imagine. Our mind flies all throughout the cosmos while realizing Allah can just easily bring forth anything in the weight of that one grain of mustard seed from anywhere. There are many implications here, but let's keep it with the subject at hand, the subject of pain and loss. So Allah can bring what you deem impossible back, if it's written for you, okay? There is no stopping it, and we have the testament of what Allah told us about the seed to prove to us the truth of that. The seed itself being mentioned in such a fashion can now always act as a reminder to all of us. So that's actually kind of beautiful. And so given these tangible things that were taken away from us, or whatever we feel is no longer present inside of us, here we can know with absolute certainty it can come back. And you ask why, right? Because all of this is all sustenance in the end. Provisions provided for us by our Lord and Creator. So whether it were opportunities, people, or deep special qualities that Allah gifted us in the past, these are all just provisions at the end of the day. And our provisions are all easily brought around into existence by the Lord of the worlds. Just as anything of the weight of that seed can be transported all around the heavens. So even if it were to be hidden really well in the depths of the earth, the rocks, then the planets and the meteors everywhere, nothing is ever too hard to bring forth. Having said that, let Allah's imagery sink in and take a minute to appreciate His dominion and His control and His all-embracing knowledge. Allah pays attention more than we will ever realize. So you should not be taken back by your loss. Allah knows exactly what's missing from you and what needs to be replaced and exactly how much. And sometimes things might not return in the same form, but in a form that still fits the missing pieces. And not only that, it might also be more enriching and serves you better than you would have ever expected. And when we understand this, we would find that it's amazingly appropriate that Allah concludes this image with His subtlety and His awareness. By the end of the verse, Allah reminds us to the fact that, after all, He is the subtle and the all-aware, Al-Latif al-Khabir. And so if you are in pain, at least just try to smile at the prospect of His ability to bring what you need from places you least expect. And of course, as always, I just want to remind you, this is not a tafsir, this is a reflection on the established meanings of the verses amongst our scholars. I'm not your neighborhood scholar or your teacher, I'm just some Muslim kid.